Don't go away. On Doggy Dilemmas this week, you're going to meet Abby, the super counter surfing Brittany Spaniel, and Jessie.
Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer with over 20 years experience training dogs and people. If you've got a doggy dilemma, Denise can help.
Hi, I'm Denise Mazzola. On this week's episode of Doggy Dilemmas, you're going to meet Abby, who's right here, and Jessie. They're both rescued Brittany Spaniels, and they have a whole host of very funny but naughty behaviors. So let's meet Jody, Abby, and Jessie, and see what we can do for her today.
Come on, Jess.
All right, that was cute. Oh my goodness, I know. While we're here, so
Yes.
let's go over. So introduce the dogs. Don't worry about that anymore.
Okay.
So introduce Jessie. Introduce the dogs. This is Abby.
This
Just
is
let her
Abby.
go. Let her go. Don't worry about the jumping.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Jessie's a little shy, so let me just go get her.
Jessie's camera shy.
She has her bed, and so she finds comfort in that bed.
Okay.
But she's really a great dog. Abby will jump all over. She doesn't even know that Jessie is here. Jessie is very timid and quiet.
Okay, and how old is Jessie?
Jessie is supposedly 5 years old.
Okay.
We got her through the New England Brittany Rescue League, and she's from Kansas.
Okay.
So that's pretty much all we know about her.
And you've had her for how long?
We've had her since July of last year, so
Okay,
about
she's
a little
new.
bit over a year.
Okay,
Yep.
so she's new.
Abby, we've had for about 6 months, and she has actually gotten better.
Okay.
It's hard to believe. But neither of these dogs knew anything about walking on a lead. We had to train Jessie on how to come, and she does come now.
Yep.
But Abby, on the other hand, she's just a typical Brittany. She's just got energy. She loves life. She loves everything that there is to see.
Yep.
And this is what she does. She just jumps.
So try to ignore her if you can when
Okay.
she jumps. Pat her when
Okay.
she's down. Okay, so 5 years old, and I missed the
And
age.
3.
And 3.
Yes.
And where'd they come from?
From Kansas. We don't know
No, where'd you adopt them from?
through the New England Brittany Rescue League.
Okay,
Yes.
great.
Yep.
Good.
And what they do is they have like it's like a railroad where they have the dogs go from one family to another foster family to another foster family to get them up to wherever they're supposed to go.
Right, yep.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. And so let's outline the problem. There's
Let
one.
me see what the problem might be. Yeah, it's really funny. This summer, I was out in the garden. I brought in a bunch of tomatoes, and Abby loves tomatoes. I've never seen a
So
dog.
odd. Very
Yeah,
odd.
so odd. And
Very
these
odd.
were huge tomatoes. All of a sudden, I'd hear this, and she'd be chewing this tomato.
Wow.
I don't know what it is with her.
Okay.
And she was overweight when we first got her. Jessie was underweight, and so we
They both
tried.
look good.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
we've
both
tried
look
to get
good.
them to be where they're supposed to be. And I have no complaints with the Rescue League at all. They bring the dogs to the vets. They get all their shots. They're all neutered. These
Yep.
are both females, so they're all spaded, and they really are great dogs. They just need love,
Yeah.
and they need to be run.
Well, they need training.
Right. Right.
You've given them the love since they've got here, and she's still loving the
Right.
counters a little too much. Okay. Let's just be clear.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ab.
So she's been here 6 months.
Yes.
Is that true? She's going to get that apple.
What do you think, Ab?
And okay, so what else? What has she gotten off the counter in the past?
It's probably whatever it is that she can reach. She can reach back about this far.
Okay.
And she never jumps up, but she's just a really strong dog in the sense that she can jump high. She can jump like 8 feet high.
Right. But I just want to list so that
Yeah, bread, meat, potatoes. No.
Okay. She's had her dinner off the counter.
Everything
Okay.
that she can find. I mean, she's eating an apple right now.
Right. And you know that by giving her the apple, you reinforce that jumping
Well,
behavior.
this is only for the show. I do not.
Just
We
making
know.
sure. All right.
No.
Don't do anything you would normally do.
No, we've learned.
Okay.
And so nothing is left on the counter that she can
Yep.
get. Because all I have to do is turn my back and she'll be eating it.
Right. Okay. So
yeah.
she's been doing that since she walked in the door.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And so the jumping is is a very strong behavior for her, right? Because she jumps on people, she jumps on the counter, she's the one that's almost ready to jump over the fence in the backyard, right? And what people sometimes forget is that, so we talk about behaviors and we talk about sit and down and come when called, and those are behaviors. And then we tend to forget that, you know, if there is an issue of aggression, that's a behavior, that running away is a behavior, and that counter surfing is also a behavior. And the more she practices, the better she gets at it.
Oh,
so it's also, counter surfing is a very challenging behavior to get rid of, because the trick is she has to make an association with the counters that is scary to her, basically, and not that has nothing to do with you being in the room.
Right.
Because then she'll know, oh, well, when Jody's here, it's not safe to jump on the counter, so I won't.
Right.
But if nobody's staying in the kitchen, you know, then it's safe, fair games. And
She knows this totally.
Right, and she's been doing it with us standing here, so she
Right.
just thinks it's open season no matter who's around.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's just quickly talk about counter surfing while we're here. And there's a couple of things. I like to try the least amount of punishment first, and then if that doesn't work, we'll step it up, and if we have to, we'll step it up again. So I'm going to grab this towel. And is she at all sound sensitive?
You know, I don't think much. Well, no, I can't tell you.
Okay.
She's sensitive to some things and not to others, so I can't tell you. Sometimes she just gets focused and she doesn't hear anything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So one thing I want you to try to do.
Want another apple?
No. Well, we could, but I don't know what.
Yeah.
So you hang a towel like this, and you're going to put something that the dog wants, you know, within proximity of the towel, and then pots and pans, or sometimes we do cans with rocks in it, just because it's noisy. So, and the theory is that she'll jump here and pull this down.
That's a good
and
idea.
all of this stuff will come down with it. If it scares her enough, she momentarily will think again. And you might have to have this set up. You know, she's like you said.
This is like a real fashion statement here.
Right.
Just Jody, can you put some of your stuff
towels
away?
all over your counters? We'll come in next time and you'll just have this all the way around. That would be great. How's that working out for you?
Poor Abby. You know, actually,
I do want you to
try.
try.
Seriously, I think it would, because she is timid when we're walking and there's a stick.
Just ignore.
Oh,
Stop
sorry.
touching her.
Okay. When we're walking and there's a stick or something in the ground or a noise, she really does pay attention to it. So this would probably do it to her. Would you like me to pull some pans out?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
do it. That'd be great. Heavy, the bigger.
You just
Oh, that would
stop.
be a good one.
Yep.
And we made her
Okay.
have to pick the apple up.
Oh, and I have
I'm
a few more apples.
disappointed she hasn't eaten the whole thing. All right.
Okay.
So we'll see if it's going to be worth her.
You want a couple more towels?
No, let's
No?
just.
Okay.
So it can't be so. So let me just. So I'm going to put about.
And if I had known, I would have used a little bit cleaner
That's-
towel
I'm
here.
gonna put
But
maybe that. Like I don't want her to have to pull. Right? We
she's
want
not
just
going to have to pull. She's going to get it right
we
off.
just want a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if
That's
one's
kinda
not-
big.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
So
I don't
we'll
want to hurt
try
her.
this. That
Yeah.
will make a lot of clinky
Yeah.
sound.
Okay. And if the apple doesn't work, I know what some other things that might work too. So, do you want me to step away?
Yeah. So let's put whatever it is right
Mm-hmm.
there. So I'm putting these pans like so that right on the tipping point.
Okay.
Right on, ready to go.
Okay. Do you want these?
So move them off the towel. No, off the towel. So
Off
I
the
don't want
towel.
her to get them.
Okay.
I just want her to struggle to get them a little bit.
I don't know if she's going to grab them now. There, App. Go ahead. No, it's right up here. Right up here.
That's right. So just.
Right up here.
Well, now she thinks she's going to work with her. So we'll just stand and talk and see what.
Yeah.
I'll probably jump out of my skin if they fall. So if and when she goes up there, and if we see this scare response from her, that would be nice. But you'll have to do it
Right.
many times.
Right.
Like this sort of set up the booby trap as part of her
Yeah.
daily thing. Oh, someone else sputter's going to come
I have
out.
so many different things that we can give her that she would just love. Oh, Abby, look at that. Abby, look at this right
She's
here.
not sure about the pots and pans.
Yeah,
So we can-
maybe that's all we need to do is just put the pots on the side and she won't even go for anything from now on. Maybe she doesn't even have to have the noise.
So I'd like you to try this for a couple of weeks, and
Okay.
and you could even do something here. Do you have a squirt bottle?
I could find one.
Do you have one of those? All right, so let me just talk about it for a minute, then we'll do that. Do this for a couple of weeks and see if the behavior diminishes. And I also want to see if the behavior is less when when we don't have the setup going on. Okay, so. And my gut instinct says, oh, she's going to get wise pretty quick to when the pots and pans are on the counter and don't jump on the counter. So then there's two other things that you can do. And I know that you sometimes, this is where you sit to eat. Okay. So when you're sitting here eating, I don't know if she's going to take that. I just want to sit. And you have a squirt bottle, so I'm just going to pretend the candle is. What I like to do, because I also have a counter, is I will sit. My whole family is it's hysterical when I start. Like, oh, some dog's gonna get it. So you've got the squirt bottle on stream. And if you can actually, like, you don't want the dog to really see it, so disguise it in a towel. And hold it in your lap, and what I heard you say is she pretty much jumps here, right? So then when she's here, I hope you have good aim, you're gonna you're gonna spray that thing right in her face, right in her face. And you say nothing, nothing, okay? So she's getting ready. She's whining.
There she is. That's exactly what she does.
So right now, if I had a squirt bottle, you'd spray her, okay?
Yep.
And you'll know pretty quick whether she was like, oh my God, what was that? Or, oh, do that again. I really like that little over here. Okay, if she's a little over here, then don't. The spray won't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And really, and she doesn't do it to your husband? Does he sit over here?
Because the dogs sit over here, so I think it's easier for her to just get up and just jump on me.
So you
And it's not
say
because-
nothing.
yeah.
You say nothing. You disguise the bottle because you don't want her to say, "Oh, when the bottle's around, don't jump up." And you just spray her, stream her right in the face, and go about eating and get ready for her to do it a second time. When and if she's like hanging out down here, then I want you to reinforce her for staying off the counter. So does she have a sit or a down command?
Not really. I mean, probably down. It's usually back. We usually use like an or a back just to stay down. We
So
haven't
we'll
really
teach her-
trained them like a down call or a sit call just because they just haven't learned any of these things as they were growing up. They didn't learn how to play. They didn't learn any of these
Okay.
things. Yeah.
So before I go today, we'll teach her. I'll show you how to lure her into a lie down and develop a hand signal.
Actually, we have done a little bit of that, to tell you the truth. Yeah, I just don't do it a lot.
Okay.
yeah.
So now you're gonna do it a lot.
Okay.
Because it's one thing, to do this and scare her, which you're really disappointing right now, Abby. But we also want to be able to communicate to her what we want her to do. And what we want her to do is to lay down when you eat. So if every time you sat down that thing, she came here laying down expecting food, that would be okay. Okay?
Yeah.
So we sort of jumped in, and I didn't I want to rewind a little bit. And I just want to remind you that, well, not remind you, but I feel like I break hearts, but dogs are dogs. And
I know.
so many people anthropomorphize, and they know, and they're spiteful, and he's mad because, okay, good. So they don't, and she doesn't know. And each of them, in their own way, are looking for their best next opportunity. And they're looking out for their own self-interest. Okay, so and Abby's is clearly on the counters. And Jessie's she's clearly more mellow, and she's in the bed.
Right.
She does have some anxiety, just this whining, and she's like, this whole thing is thrown her off. Like, I don't know how to get the food. I always just put my feet up there, and now there's these things in my way. You could try some over-the-counter pheromones. There's a DAP, and you can spray it and put it on just put it on a bandana around her neck. And some dogs, they're like, I'm not going to get it right. There are mother hormones that are supposed to be calming, and some of my clients have used it and said, "Oh my gosh, it's like."
So it's like an aromatherapy kind of thing.
Yep, it's a pheromone, so it helps her. So you could certainly try that. You don't need a prescription for it. the training that we do will also start to help exercise her brain, because it sounds like she gets a lot of physical exercise. She needs some mental exercise, because that will tire her out in a completely different way. Like, I'm a runner, right? So I can go out and run 10 miles. That doesn't necessarily tire me out anymore. But on October 31st, when I have to balance my checkbook, I'll be exhausted. I'll be exhausted the day before just thinking about it. Okay, so that's the kind of brain exercise, not balancing your checkbook that we need to think about. So
we were,
watching her.
we were also thinking about a dog agility. We wondered if that would be good for her, because she is like a thinker. She's always thinking, it seems like. But
yeah. She's always thinking about what's my next best thing to do here. Right. Yeah. This is just so funny that may or may not work for you.
Right.
All right.
It's a good start.
So the next ante is I put out mouse traps, and I put one sheet of paper towel over them. So set them just like you would. Put the apple behind it so she has to paw.
Right.
And the paper towel is there to sort of protect it, and just the jiggling of the paper towel will often...
And so that they don't get snapped?
Yes.
Yeah.
When you do this, I would highly encourage you to write on the paper towel mouse trap, and then set it on the counter over the mouse trap. So one day when I was outside in the summer, I heard this, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "Oh, there was a mouse trap on the counter. Sorry, honey, we're not married anymore." But he picked up the paper towel and got the mouse trap. So it can catch people.
Right.
And then I did it again. I had this big, it's called a snappy trap, and I don't think you can get them anymore. So it's just like a mouse trap, and it has this great big red hand that flaps over. So I had that next to the sink, because I had a dog boarding with me that, just like your dog, came up every day, put his paws right on the counter. So my daughters and everybody that lives with me on a regular basis knew what was under the paper towel, and I forgot to tell my daughter's boyfriend. So the poor guy comes over to the sink, and he hits it, and the thing flies in the air, and he just about had a heart attack. So he's a little aversive to paper towels laying on my counter now, because he never knows if there's a mouse trap.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea too.
But so if this doesn't work, I would be pretty sure that the mouse trap would. And it, again, just so everybody's clear, the goal is not to have them put their paw and get snapped.
Right.
The goal is that they hit the paper towel and the thing explodes in the air and scares the bejesus out of them. That's and for our anxious friend here, come on in here. That may work. So you're going to need a couple of those too, because you don't want her to only associate it here. You're going to need maybe 10 of them, because you really want her associated with the whole counter all the time. No matter what.
Boy, poor Abby.
I know.
You're not going to be able to have anything.
What's nice about that is you set those up, and then you go off and do your thing.
Right.
And she will make that association with the counter. And you'll have to do that. You may have to do that, for a period of months, or if you're ready all the time, it'll go, like if you did it every day and she got snapped periodically, the behavior would go away much faster.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to have, or we won't have much problem at all, honestly, because she is so skittish when something like that happens.
Right.
It's just a matter of, will she remember it? So,
she will, yeah. But right now, counter surfing, the value is up here, and not counter surfing is down here, and we want to make that switch pretty quick.
Right.
So it can take a little bit of time, but it can't be dependent on your presence.
Right, because usually when she does it, I'm not even here.
Right.
So, but I know she's doing it, because I come up, and there's dirt marks all over the counter here.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice, Abby.
Yeah.
All right.
So what about when people come to the door and they jump on them?
Right. So I always say you can't control your family and friends, so you need to control the dog.
Right.
And again, for Miss Abby here, her best behavior right now is jumping. Like jumping is the answer.
She's very good at it.
Yes, jumping is the answer to just about everything. Does she jump on doors to go out?
Yep, downstairs. Not so much this one, but our downstairs door.
And does it open, or does she just jump on it to say?
Just jumps on it.
Okay.
I did put a bell there,
hoping
that she would ring the bell when she needed to go out and things like that. And I've learned her behavior, so I know when she's going to jump. So I counteract that by knowing and keeping her off, from jumping.
Okay.
So we are working on all of these things. It's just learning other ways to do things
Right.
than what we've been
Yep,
doing so far.
yep.
Because they are getting better. It's just that we'd like to see, especially Abby, not jumping on the counter.
Right, right. Okay, so for the jumping, so in order for any dog's behavior to change, your behavior has to change. Whether you're changing exactly how you're interacting with her, or you're changing it in that we're going to manage her. So one thing is when she jumps on you, we'll try to get her up and excited in a minute, but I don't want you to touch her anymore because all this touching is patting and pushing, and she probably likes to play a little bit rough anyway, so it's acting as a reinforcement. Because if
Usually-
it's not deterring her, then it's reinforcing
Yeah.
her.
And usually, like, if we weren't here, I would be not mean, but I would just push her, like, and just keep talking. Like, I would, like, if we're sitting at the table, when she comes over, I just push her off and I say down. And it might take twice, though. That's the thing is, I know
Right,
that
but
you
then
should
every
be
time you sit down, she does it again. She does it again.
Right, but she's getting better. But
Slowly.
it is slow.
Let's accelerate that a
right,
little bit.
Right.
So you're going to keep your hands off her, and so there's a couple ways to do it. You could absolutely. Usually, when I come in, I completely ignore a dog, but because we're trying to capture some of this behavior, I was interacting a little bit. So you can ignore and just keep your hands off her, but I also want you to add a little body block to that. And a body block is where you're going to step. So if she's right here, come here, Abby. Come on, wake up.
Hey, Abby, what you doing?
Come here. You're going to walk right into her. So walk right into her. Yep. Walk into her. So directly into her. Oh, she almost pulled that off.
I know.
Have fun. She can't do it.
Okay.
Good girl. So it's walk straight into her. Yep. No hip or knee.
Okay.
Just plow into
keep
her.
walking.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, if you step on her feet, that's a little bonus because that will be adversive to her. She's like, no, I don't know what to do. Good girl. I know. So straight into her. And she's just sort of deflecting. Walking straight into her. Yep, good.
That's easy enough too.
Yep, and again, right into her. Yep. Good girl. So I would now, since she's sitting, reinforce what we want. Oh, you are?
You are.
Motivated, aren't you? So the first thing is for you and your husband, hands-off body blocker. For this counter stuff, I would do the squirt bottle. I don't do them a lot, and I'm a little, everybody out there in TV world, don't get crazy about it. But for this particular thing, it's a really good way to get rid of that behavior. Okay. The alternative is you sit there and you completely ignore her. Make sure she can't get your plate or anything, like she doesn't exist until she's been down off the counter for at least 4 seconds, and then I would start reinforcing it. Did you see that yawn? That's stress. Okay, so let me grab some treats and let me go over this way.
Okay.
So that's for jumping and body blocking for you guys.
Okay.
When you have guests come over, she should be leashed because
Right.
we can't teach her the new behavior while she's doing the old behavior, and she needs to be leashed so that family and friends don't inadvertently reinforce the naughty behavior, and so that you can teach her something else. Now, she is excitable and frantic, so your options are when people come over, she can be somewhere else. She can be somewhere else until that initial energy goes down, and I'm purposely playing with treats, and she knows that because we're going to work while we talk. And impulse control. So what she's learning now is that's going to get her nothing. She can paw, dig, scratch at my hand, whatever. It's not going to get her anything. And I just haven't had enough good stuff to give her something for it. Good girl. And she's like, oh, there's food around. I should be a part of this. Okay, well that's too bad for you, but so 1, 2, 3, 4. So I don't want to reinforce her. She jumps up, she gets down. There has to be 4 seconds of laying down, sitting, standing, whatever, before I'm going to start to give her something for that. Same thing for her. Okay. Jumping. Leash her. Yours will be over there. leash her, and my suggestion is that you teach her to sit. And while you're doing this process, she will need lots of small. So I would say that's small. So I'm breaking these bigger pieces up into smaller pieces. Treats constantly going in her mouth while people are coming in. So it's a 2-person operation. So what I'm noticing is her jumping on me is less, and there's less body touching. Like I can physically feel that difference. What are you doing? And they also do know to sit in the presence of food.
Right.
So food comes out. So that is contextual learning. Oh, food is out, I sit. But what I would like her to know is the concept of sit, which means that she will sit no matter what you're doing, whether there's food out or not, and when she's asked. So we'll have to change that from the context to the concept. Okay. People come over, she's leashed, you got a handful of treats, a pocket full of treats, you've got a bait bag, whatever you need, and you will literally be feeding her the whole time people come in. Okay. Because right now, people coming in is very exciting. It's a high arousal time. That's when dogs tend to have fights. That's when dogs jump up on people. And so we need to devalue jumping while we're increasing the value of sitting. And since dogs are looking out for their own best interest, this is natural balance, but I also have some boiled chicken. And that chicken that you pulled out is good girl. So a little self-correction. Like she came in the air, but not on us, which is always an improvement. And I have liverwurst, which we'll use for some come when called shortly. And also some homemade liver treats, which are usually very high value.
If she could get into that bag.
Oh, I know. Maybe we should put this behind the pots and pans.
You want me to put, all right, here. I'll stand over here again.
So when you know
the reason that they're getting so excited is because they think they're going for a walk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Alicia's classically conditioned.
Yeah.
All
right, Jessie.
Okay. So she's on the leash. You know people are coming. You're just going to step on it.
Okay.
Short enough that she can stand, sit, or lay down.
Okay.
But if she starts to jump, you'll see just what can't do anything. Having the leash on her also helps communicate to the people that are coming in that something is happening with the dog and they just need to stay away.
Okay.
So the other thing I do is once she is... That works nicely. I like that. Because jumping is just your answer. So once she's sitting, see how there's tension on the leash? I'm just going to move my foot a little bit closer to take that tension off. Well, she's going to keep backing away. And then you would continually feed her. And, you know, Jessie may need, since Jessie doesn't jump, I would have her probably away, just so you don't end up with both dogs trying to get at the treats. That's too much to manage, right? So people are coming in, you're stepping on the leash, and you're just going to feed her continually. Hi, how are you? Feed her, feed her, feed her. Yeah, go ahead, sit down. Feed her, feed her, feed her. And she may need to stay leashed for 10 or 15 minutes until she's calm, because that's not easy for her. She is worked up quite a lot. Okay, good. All right, I want to show you how to get her to sit and lay down. Sorry, I know, but we're not going anywhere. So exciting. The thought, and both dogs can certainly learn this. Now, when I do a lot of dog training, I usually will adjust their food so that it's less.
Right.
You can use their food if they will work for their food. And inside, they may work for their food, but outside, you'll have to do something different. Jessie, you look like you're sort of asleep, but not really.
That's just the way she is.
Is this the way she looks?
Yep.
Very cute. Okay. So can you hold Jessie maybe so that she'll...
Jessie, come.
And I'll work with Abby. Okay. Sweet. Abby, good girl. So when we teach sit, normally if the dog didn't already have a sit, it's going to be some sort of a hand signal like this. And we'll work on that. We'll move after. Abby. So then I'm going to I have several treats in my hand. Well, I have the free one. So one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just teach her to wait for the food. So as I come closer, if she moves, I'm going to pull it away until she can control herself. And I'm not going to look for, good girl. The goal is that I can get it right to her nose and you'll actually see her pull away and then you're going to give it to her. For today, I'm going to look for anything that tells me she's controlling herself. So that was pretty good, right? She stuck her nose up, but her feet didn't leave the ground. I'm not dropping them. Good girl. So the 3, there was foot movement, and then the 4th, there was not. And what she's learning is, oh, if I stay there, it'll come to me, okay? She's not rough taking treats, but this would be a good exercise for you to do so that she'll learn, oh, good girl. Do you see her just pull her head away a little bit? So every opportunity is a learning opportunity. Every interaction with her, yes, good girl. She turned a little bit sideways again. That's not to say that, you know, she's going to keep doing that. You kept sitting.
But I think it's just practice and practice.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we've got to do.
Good girl. Yep. All right, so she's looking at my other hand, so I'll just move that out of the picture. Good girl. Okay. So we have to sort of leave that. For the down, she's going to start in the sit. You're going to have many treats in your hand. She is allowed to lick and nibble as you bring her head to between her front feet. Good girl. And then down until the rest of her body is. Now for her, I want her relaxed, which is like this. See how her hips are now? That's a relaxed down, and that's what I want her to be doing. Every time you ask her to lie down, she'll go into that relaxed position. And I'm making a statement with her by giving her 4 or 5 pieces of chicken in this position. Good girl. Okay. Come on. Good. So I'll turn her head to her shoulder, and that relaxed those hips. Before I gave her the food. Good girl. Oh, we've got her hips going one way. So this leg is popping out. I'm going to see if I can turn her this way. There you go. Her whole body has to work in the right direction. Good girl. So yes, that's clear you've done some work with that.
Yeah, we have done a little bit of down, but we haven't done it where their back legs were relaxed. We just we took the food and went down, and they both went down.
Yep.
You know, we just.
Yep. So we're going to build the relaxed position.
Yep.
Hips are relaxed, and then we're going to build duration. So she'll get several pieces while she's in this position. And chicken almost makes her a little too frantic, but that's all right. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Can I drop one? So she's not relaxed, so there she is. Oh, you didn't go down. Okay, so pawing, no, we won't give her anything for pawing. And
Okay.
the other reason that it's hard with
Jessie.
both is that then you get that competition.
Right. And that, you know, that's the thing that happens to me a lot, though, is I have both of them most of the time.
Yep.
So it's hard to get both of them to be able to do something because Jessie is good, she's quiet. Abby will overpower her. So if we can get Abby trained, then I can do both of them possibly.
Yep. So break those up into small pieces. I'm going to have
Okay.
you work with Abby. I'm going to hold Jessie.
Okay.
Oh, no, come here. Come here. There you go.
We know how to food.
So you can do the down from the sit, but pretty quick you can also do it just from the stand. She doesn't need to be told to lie down first.
Okay. And what were you saying for down?
I wasn't saying anything
You weren't.
yet. Nope.
So were you?
But since you say get down to get off you, your lay down command should be something like lay flat or floor. Good. Should we have another piece? Nope. New position. The goal is to give it to her all while she's there. So give her, I want you to be able to give her 5 pieces without her breaking, without her getting up.
5 in a row.
Yep. There. And another one. Yep. And then, yep. Good for repositioning. Good. And another one.
Poor Jessie.
Yep. And another one.
Abby.
Yep, and position her sideways. Yes.
Okay.
Good.
Can I do it with Jessie just a little?
Yeah.
Here, Jess.
Good. So she flipped her hips like that.
Whoops.
Yep.
Gotta be quicker.
Yep. Because I don't. We want to get rid of that lay down, get up thing.
Right.
We want them to just lay down and stay there for a period of time.
This is very hard for Abby. So this is what I have to go through usually with.
Yep. So you could put. When I train two dogs in the same house, one is either crated or outside, and I work with one dog at a time. You can't possibly teach two at the same time.
Right.
Yep.
And that's what I find. Sometimes it just makes it a little hard.
Yep. So do Abby one more time.
Okay.
And
Ab.
just, come here, Jessie.
Ab.
No, Jess. Hang on. Let me get Jessie out of the picture.
Abby. Abby. Right here. Abby.
So be slow. You don't want to be as fast as her. You want to be slow. Yep. And calm. Yep. And another one.
Yep.
No,
Just too slow.
Too much time. Yep. And and another one. And another one.
I think she's going out
She's
crazy now. Here. She's not going to eat her dinner.
Yep. So
Okay. So what we've usually done is we've usually just said, here, and then down. And that's exactly what we've usually done, is
Right.
just played like that. But this is really nice having it relaxed. I've only got one more small piece here.
just give it to her and then just be done.
Okay. All right.
So the goal.
So can I say good girl?
You can say whatever you want. She doesn't understand it.
Okay.
Right? She's not a verbal species. The goal will be, so since you say get down to meaning get off me, I would like your lay down to be flat, floor, or lay.
Okay.
But down can't mean two different behaviors.
Right.
Okay. And most people cannot change what they automatically say when a dog jumps on them.
Well, when I have a dog on me, I like to say off. I may have said something different here today, but usually that is what we say.
All right, so just pay, you don't need to say anything.
But we'll just
for
have
this
to
behavior.
be specific to what we say
Yes.
for what command it is. That's
Yep.
all.
Now, there's a lot of different pieces. Over time, you will ask for the down. See, I'm standing instead of kneeling. She will automatically position herself sideways. And see how my hand is staying right here, and I'm just, and I'm feeding the treats out to her. So the hand isn't going to move yet. She can't, when you take your hand away, she's popping up.
Right.
I know, honey. Then you're going to go from standing and kind of kneeling with your hand here all the time. She'll get to the point where you can you may still have to have a little bit of food come down, but you don't have to go all the way to the floor. You're going to be very conscious about, okay, I did 3 with my hand going to the floor. Now I'm going to do 1 with my hand to the top of my shoe, right? But we still have to reposition her, but she doesn't understand that part yet. So we need all those pieces, good girl, to come into play. There you go. Look at that. That's very nice. That's very
What
good.
a good girl.
So from the floor to the top of your shoe, to your ankle, your shin, your knee, until you're finally standing up. Okay. Once that relax starts to happen, and that will happen, she will never get a morsel of food in her mouth unless she's relaxed. Then you'll get it very fast. If you continue to reinforce this come down like that, then you're basically saying you can still offer me that behavior and I'll pay you for it. And what we want to say is no more. You're not going to get paid for that at all, just for the relaxed position.
That's great.
And you should practice it all over the house. So it generalizes to you sitting in your chair, you're sitting in the dining room, sitting in the living room, wherever you are. She'll like, oh, okay. And the hand signal will start to be this, or down.
Okay.
The sit's not bad, it's in context, but for a dog as active and sort of anxious as she is, I'd much rather have the down be strong and have some duration on that. All right, so she needs a come and called. And the way I start that is in the house using high value treats and hide and seek. So we can do it, I want to do it with them individually, because what happens if you do it with them together is it's hard to tell who really gets the game and who's just following. And you don't want to find that out in the woods. Oh, Jessie was just following her.
Right.
She didn't really understand the game herself.
Right.
So we'll do it individually. So let's set up so that we've got, yeah, I think we're going to have to move so we can set up for a longer distance.
So more in the living room?
Yep.
Okay. Here she goes. Here she goes.
I'm not pulling on the,
Oh, come on. You can do it. It's actually kind of fun to watch her because I'm never here when she's doing it. I'd love, because it's interesting to see how she does it. Oh, almost. Is there food in there too?
So you're going to have to go with the mouse trap.
Yeah.
All right, so for come and called, we build it up slowly and we start inside. And we start with hide and seek. So even if we do both dogs together today, what I want to be sure that you do is practice them separately when I'm obviously not here. And it's a 2-person project, so you have to do this with your husband. What I want her to learn is to find you by your voice,
Okay.
not by having to see you. If she sees you, that's even better. But because in the woods, and especially around New Hampshire, you're not always just standing in your backyard. I mean, everybody just thinks they stand here and say, Fido, come, one time. And that's really from, it's zipped. Don't worry, she can't get into it. I zipped it up. You know, and it comes from obedience showing, but that's not the real world. We need to be able to get our dogs to come. And yes, I want you to say their name more than once. So I'm going to give you a generous amount of chicken and a couple of liver treats. So these are the fresh baked one. And I'll give you some for both dogs. So you may have to, let's first concentrate. I just don't want there to be any arguments with them.
These guys don't fight.
Okay. So what I want you to do, particularly with Abby, when she gets to you, is you're going to take her collar with the non-food hand, and then you're going to treat her with the food hand. So I may not let go of Jessie.
Do you want me to put one of these guys
if you
down
could.
somewhere? Okay.
Let's put.
You want Jessie?
Look at you.
Do you want me
I
to
know
put
that's your
Jessie
spot.
away?
Yeah, put Jessie.
Jessie, come. Jessie, come here, honey. Come here. Come on, honey. She sees all the food.
Oh,
She
no.
says,
You want a
I
piece
know
of chicken?
Abby's going to get all this good fun, and I'm not going to get anything.
So you don't need to give her all of this. Break this up into maybe groups of 3. But one hand should not have food in it so that you can actually grab her collar. Yeah, that doesn't, I know, come here. Come here. Okay, so you're going to show her this food, not that she needs to see it. And I want you just to like run to that door.
Okay.
So show it, just like let her get a good sniff. Okay, go to the door. Call her just her name.
Abby.
Grab her collar and give her several pieces. Ooh. Good. Okay, did you give her a couple pieces? Okay. Now I'm gonna, you don't need to show it to me anymore. Go back towards where I was standing. I'm gonna go down the hall a little bit more. There. So call her with a really happy, excited voice.
Abby! Come here, Abby. Here, Abby.
Yeah. Whoa. Good.
This is good?
Okay, so I'm going to take her back down the hall, and this
Okay.
time I want you to be squatting down over here.
Okay.
So you're going to just start to hide. Don't look to see where she's going, but not so much that it's too hard to find her.
Okay.
Okay, call her.
Abby.
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 Take her collar. Good.
Okay.
Good. Okay, perfect. All right. So you don't need to do it more than 3 times.
Okay.
And you're going to start hiding by being that subtle. And then next time, you could go behind the magazine thing and squat down a little bit. Or, when we're not here with all this, you can go in the kitchen or around the corner. And the goal is that so you may have to say, Abby, come on. You don't have to say come. You don't have to say here. I don't want you to be stern. I want you to be really happy. Come on, let's go. And the goal, and you will hear, especially on this floor, you hear the toenails like, and then she's going to stop if she doesn't know where you are, and she's going to listen for where is it coming from. Abby, oh, she's over here. And then you or your husband will see her charge over there. And so you're going to do her, then you're going to do Jessie, then you could do one together. But I would work them separately.
Right.
And you can start to then go downstairs. So when the first time you go downstairs, just stand at the bottom of the stairs. Don't hide in the downstairs until they realize, oh, now this is part of the game too. Once you can hide and the dog is truly, searching you out and looking for you and listening for you, then you can start it outside out in your fenced. And then after that, what I do is I have a long line.
More than 15? More than 15
this is
feet,
like
yeah.
20 or 30 feet.
Okay, yeah.
It's a little sometimes cumbersome, but then one at a time with the two of you outside the fenced-in area, and you start again. You don't hide right away. You just stand where she can see you. You call her, and then you're going to escalate the treats to liverwurst for outdoors.
I didn't realize that there was a hierarchy.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And that is a good idea, because with Jessie, actually, this is what we did, only we used a 15-foot lead, and she was really interested in the food.
Yep.
And right, but Abby is just a little, wired.
Yes, she
it's
is.
like she
Yeah.
doesn't focus. Like with Jessie, she was calm and she came and you knew that she was paying attention.
Right.
But with Abby, it's just like, whoa, she's just everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why I want you to do the collar grab, because when you're outside and you call her to you, and let's just say she's had a near, you weren't sure you were going to get her back, so you're a little adrenalized yourself, you're going to grab her. That's the first thing you're going to do is reach down and grab her. And you want all of this now. So we're working two areas of science. We're working operant and classical, and the classical is about making associations. So the association that we're making is when my hand comes out and grabs you, food follows. Yeah, grab my collar, right? As opposed to don't grab my collar, which is what a lot of dogs do.
Right.
The operant piece is the running to you is what gets reinforced. That's the behavior. This is the association. This is the behavior. Don't ask her to sit. Don't ask her to lie down, because now you're reinforcing the sit. We want to reinforce, yes, you came here.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I can tell you that it is hard to work with just one person in doing that. But my husband,
need two for that.
Right. And so what we've been doing is in an area where we know that there's not a lot of a chance for them to run off, we've been trying to do that, but we haven't had the food. So I think the food will make a really huge difference.
Tremendous.
Yeah.
And when I say liverwurst, so I buy cheap liverwurst.
And so it's real liverwurst. It's not like the doggy stuff. Yep.
Oh, no doggy stuff. It's in a tube. And for today, I cut it into wheels. So I would give her probably half, if not the whole thing.
Wow.
A half of this or the whole thing. Right, because you're asking her to come away from squirrels, rabbits, chipmunks, all the smells. Dogs can smell a grain of salt in an Olympic-sized pool. So to ask them to leave that for some little measly nugget, no, not going to do it.
Okay, that makes me feel so much better.
And I'm not going to work for 25 cents an hour.
Right.
Right? That's 25 cents an hour. I need the big bucks.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that's why you're not going to do you're not going to do 100 recalls.
Right.
3 outside. She gets a lot of this, then you're done for that time. And you're going to build her up so that she's running 30 feet, then she's running 50 feet, then 60 feet. Now you're hiding behind a tree and she has to find you. It has to be worth her while to play the game. And coming to you just because you love her, it's not enough, sorry. It's just not enough. And she's like, rabbit. Jody's standing there with nothing in her hand. I'm going for the rabbit. Right? Plus, she's a Brittany.
Yes.
So she's hardwired to hunt.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So we can't necessarily, I'm not pretending to say that we're going to prevent her from chasing the rabbit, but it would be nice when she was done and you're still standing there going, Abby, come on, Abby, happy. Cheerlead her in. That she'll go, oh yeah, the rabbit's gone. I want that liverwurst. And boom, she's going to come to you.
Yeah.
But again, the come when called is valued down here. And we need the valuation to come up here, really. And we're going to do that slowly so that she's always successful. And then, there's other ways that I can do distractions, and I can come back and show you that. So in the house, when she's really good at it, I would have her. So this could be you, and I would have a handful of something. Not as good as what you would have, but maybe the hard dog biscuits. and I would let her sniff, and she'd be like, oh, let me get that. As soon as you call, I let her go, my hand stays here, and she has to come off of this to you. So you have to have something much better than what I have, and a lot more than what I have. Oh, hi, are you sweet? She's really sweet. Yes, you are. Okay.
She is. Yes.
She is sweet.
Yeah, we love both of our dogs, and we want them to be friendly for everybody. But again, like when people come
in,
into,
a little too friendly.
Right, people come in the door, and nobody wants to have dogs jumping on them. Nobody.
No. And everybody has dogs that jump on them.
Right.
Everybody
right. And
does.
I like our dogs because people like our dogs because they're friendly, and but I don't like it when they do jump. And we've been really lucky. We really have been working, hard, but we just need to keep working.
Yeah.
And so, that liverwurst is really going to make a difference, I think. And, knowing that there is a difference between chicken and kibble.
Oh, huge. So indoors, like I said, you can certainly use, for the sits and the downs, I would use lower value because you don't have a lot of competition. The competition in here for her is your counters and the other dog. Outside, though, the kibble has to go away.
Right.
And even though she likes apples, I wouldn't use that as a reinforcement.
The apple is just because it's food. It doesn't matter. It could
Was
have
she
been
overweight or underweight?
She was overweight.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, so I want to just address your walking issues. And I know that you're using a prong collar. And since
The prong
I
collar
feel
was
like I've known
mostly
you forever, prong collars are designed to make dogs bite.
really because they're not like that though. But what we looked at it for was to walk because when we first got Abby, we couldn't even walk with her on a lead. And we put the prong collar on her. And within seconds, she was able to walk, and we could walk downtown, and everything was great.
Right.
But
because let me just use some of the food that you're holding.
Yeah.
Because it's digging in her neck.
Right.
I mean, there is an adversive piece to that.
Right. And that's what we have seen is that we didn't like that part of it, but we've been trying to figure out what to do instead. So this looks like this might be something.
And because if it didn't work, people wouldn't use them. That's going to be just a little too tight. Let me adjust that. So this is a sensation harness. It works. Dogs have oppositional reflex, which means you push on them and they push into you, which is why walking her on her regular collar didn't work.
Not at all.
Because when she feels that pressure, her instinct tells her to move into it. Here, Abby. I know. So this is a front clip harness. And it will apply belly pressure. I like to put it on her when she's standing, not sitting, because it kind of makes her, that's much better. But we're going to use this. So when you walk with her with this, the leash comes off the side of the shoulder that she's on, right? So she's on this side, it's going to come off this shoulder. If I were on the other side, Abby, then it's going to come off this other side.
Now, when we're walking, I usually will give her a long ways to walk. Maybe I should start off with a short distance first.
I would use,
because what ends up happening is this goes under her leg, and then she's running, she's walking with it under. It doesn't really feel like it's doing much.
Right.
Okay.
So when you walk with this outside, you're going to pull up and release, and up and release. So, good girl. You'll see a difference outside. Come on.
Right.
So it's up and release, and when you pull up, it's applying pressure here, which tells her, move into that pressure. And now, if she sees a rabbit, she's going to go and she's going to pull a little bit. It doesn't work on flexies, like the retractable leads.
Right.
It's not going to work on that.
Yep.
And the leash that we use in the kitchen, that's pretty okay. But the further away she is from you, then you can't really get the correct leash movement, which is a little this way.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Good girl. I know. It doesn't, so it helps her just walk right along next to you. Let me just according this up and you can try this.
Yeah, and we found that with the prong collar, so I'm sure she's going to listen with this too, but with the prong collar on, it's a snap. She'll walk right with us.
Correct.
But without anything, and like you saw before when the dogs were getting excited, all you need to know is that they're going to have that collar on, and they are ready to do whatever you want them to do. But I don't want to have them on the collar all the time.
Right. So, you can certainly continue to use the prong collar. I just want you to understand
but I like this.
It's working because...
I like this because it's not digging into her.
Correct.
Yeah.
It works because she's working to avoid the pinch that she's getting. And if you see any the police dogs and all those dogs that they're riling up so that they like charge out and bite the person, they're almost always on prong collars because they're agitating. That's what they're designed to do, like agitate, send them out and get the thing.
Wow.
So they work, but they also you can create reactive dogs because she's on the prong collar, she sees the dog, maybe she barks, you give her a correction, she stops, but now in her mind that associative learning is happening. Oh, dogs make my neck get bit, so maybe I should, get the dog faster or something.
Right.
You haven't described that, so
No, not
it's
at all.
your choice.
Actually,
so try
these guys,
both.
yeah, these guys are great when other dogs go by. So
It's a lot of, good. So release it. Yep. So there's no pressure unless you need it.
good dog, Al.
Come here, Abby. See if I can just distract her. Abby. Good. Pull up. Yep. Good. And then release it. Good. So it's an up and release. Very nice.
It's a lot like any of the other collars, but this one doesn't feel like it's going to really hurt them like it could with the other. Seriously, that's what the thing is that we haven't liked about the prong collar is that it does dig into her because she doesn't stop pulling. She just wants to pull all the time.
Right. And she may pull a little bit with that, but her short hair, her muscularness usually means that the sensation harness will work really well.
Yeah, that's great.
And the really hairy, bulky dogs, they don't work so well.
Right.
At that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So
same thing would happen with Jessie too, because Jessie is the same exact. She listens really, really well. Abby again, she just focused a little bit on other things.
Yes, the training, the impulse control can help her get more sort of settled in her brain. She's like,
yeah, she is.
Just
and I'd
crazy
love
like
to
that.
have her a little calmer.
Yep.
And maybe I do get some of the pheromone. Maybe that will. I hate to use anything that's not like natural or something that's going to really be strange for the dog.
The downstay and there's lots of other training we can do, but the downstay should be your best friend, and that's where I would put my time in with her. So that she just, when you ask her to lay down, she's like, yep, I can do that.
Yeah.
So that she can turn off, like she's on too much
all the time
and not off enough.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
All right. Any questions about anything?
I don't think so. I can't wait to practice with her.
Good. I can't wait to see the results.
Yeah,
You're going to be like a new dog.
She is. And, these dogs, Brittany's are such wonderful dogs. I've had one for almost all my adult life. At some point, I had one. My last dog before these two, we had for over 15 years. And we got her from a puppy. I thought that I needed to start with a puppy, and I thought, oh my God, can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Right.
I was so worried. That's why I didn't really want to get a rescue dog because I thought, well, they're going to be too old.
Right.
But then I thought, well, it might work. I tried it with the first one, and it worked because Jessie was a little bit more timid, and Abby is totally black and white to what Jessie is.
Right.
But they both are really great dogs to have around, and I would recommend Brittany, except for the fact that you have to be able to walk them. You cannot have
high
a Brittany.
energy.
Right. It's just like a Dalmatian or some of these other dogs. People don't think that they need exercise, but that's what they really do need.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
All right. Good.
Good.
Okay. So thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Doggy Dilemmas, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
If you have a doggy dilemma, Denise can help. Visit www.denisemazzola.com for more information. Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer tested through the Association of Pet Dog Trainers. The association requires recertification every 3 years with a minimum of 30 hours of continuing education. She has been training dogs and working with families for over 20 years.